We are here, ready to go, and Kerry Fink, our executive director and the host of the show. Kerry, we've got things going and all warmed up here for this New Year's Eve. Glad to have you on the other side of the glass here, and it's been a great year. Looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, you said it so well, John. This has been a very pivotal year for the work of helping seniors. You know, everybody likes to, on the last day of the year, kind of do a year in review. But, you know, John, it's been a good year. The sad part, of course, was that we lost our our founder and longtime president, Joe Steckler, at the start of this year, and then his lovely wife, Terry, a couple of months later. But the good news is that Joe had built a strong organization. You've been his vice president all along and were willing to step up into the role of president. And then for Nancy Deerdorf, who was one of the founding board members and helping getting all this rolling. And then I met Joe just as he was getting all this off the ground. And here we are 15 years later, and the organization is in great shape and working to really have an expansion of services in 2026. We did so much this past year, John. Of course, you know, everybody who bought a car raffle ticket and helped us out. In fact, it was so, had a great conversation yesterday with AJ Hires, you know, who is a great benefactor and has really helped us. He and Joe, he was saying, Kerry, he said, over the years, Joe and I, he said, we raised millions of dollars for charity, because Joe, of course, was building up Brevard Alzheimer's, and then many years ago, AJ kind of helped Joe get that whole program rolling for us. And in fact, our winner was just in the Kia dealership, so it sounds like he's going to go home in a Kia. We'll keep you posted on the breaking news. But you know what AJ said was, he said the service that you guys do is so important. He was referring to a friend of his whose mother-in-law had just was really kind of advancing with some dementia-related things, and was going to connect that person with our Nancy Deerdorf, who herself has 30-plus years of registered nurse experience, to try to help make sure that they could come up with a good care plan for this person, so that they would know how to find the right home help, all the things that were needed to, as Joe would always talk about, make that aging plan. And so, John, here we are, you know, all these years later, and more excited than ever about what we have to accomplish for good for seniors next year.
Yeah, really looking forward to 2026. I think a lot of things that, as you said, we want to accomplish, and feel confident that we'll be able to do that and then some.
Yeah.
To make this organization one of the premier organizations for helping seniors in Brevard County, and we're very proud of our accomplishments of the past, and proud of what we'll be doing in the future.
Yeah, you know, it really is. It's an incredible thing, because I always used to say to Joe, this is the organization. It's like that childhood book, The Little Engine That Could. To me, it's phenomenal. Once again, we took well over 4,000 calls from seniors and their families, and managed to point them in the right direction. I always tell people, it's like people say, what does helping seniors do? I say, we're senior navigation, and what we're trying to do is point seniors and their families to the next safe harbor. You know, you run into stuff you don't know what to do about, and that's what we're here to do. And so the education programs are expanding. The things that we've been doing with AARP are going to be expanding to include caregivers conferences next year. We're going to be working more with the Scam Jam. We've got 5 of those scheduled next year. Our Senior Tech Talks programs are going to be expanding next year because of our new association with Senior Planet, and which is a division of AARP. And then, of course, that's on top of everything that we normally do, which is our Knowledge College for Aging and our Wellness Series. And what we're going to talk about today is some exciting things that are going to be happening on the holistic and addiction recovery side of things. So we've got so much to do. But, John, one of the things, you know, everybody, it's the last day of the year, so it's that plea for your tax-deductible donation so that you can get it in for 2025.
We can still get it in.
And you still have time. If you call Nancy at 321-473-7770, you can do that, or you can drop us a check in the mail if that's how you prefer to do it, to Helping Seniors. We can do that. And you can also go online at helpingseniorsbrevard.org and that's another way you can donate. And what we've been trying to do, John, is we've been sort of in a year-end fundraising campaign to try to see if we could get about a $10,000 that we're putting towards capital improvements at Joe's Senior Resource Center. We're trying to finish out a couple of conference rooms that we want to make available, and some additional training space, and also the podcast studio to try to get that over the finish line. It's 90% there, and so we've been asking people to get behind that, and we've actually done very good. We've had like $6,700 of people donating to help us with that. And so we're just a few dollars short of our goal. Maybe if you're listening, you want to be one of those people that says, I got to do this. I'm either going to pay Uncle Sam or I can help a charity here locally. Maybe this is your moment to do that. So again, the number is to call us at is 321-473-7770. You can go online and get information about the mailing address, or you can donate directly online at helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. But, John, you spent more time in the senior area because you helped Joe get Brevard Alzheimer's going and all that. But, this is an important work that we're trying to do, and we need all the help we can get.
We sure do, and we appreciate those who have been stepping forward to helping us.
Very much.
And the new renovations in the office and the studio look great.
Yeah.
And very proud of what has been accomplished there.
Yeah, we're excited because it's all, I always tell people, John, there's no reason for us to exist, period, other than to do, as a nonprofit, we don't exist for anybody's individual benefit. We are here, you volunteer, we're all doing what we can do to make things better for seniors in Brevard. So when you help us, the more you help us, the more we can do to help more seniors. And Lord knows we have more seniors than ever before, John.
That's right. We sure do here in Brevard County and nationwide for that matter.
Yeah.
But again, we thank all of those who have stepped forward and donated, bought tickets, whatever the case may be. We thank you here in 2025 and look forward to more of that happening in 2026. And let me segue real quickly before we get to our guest, and that Kerry Fink is to kind of perhaps embarrass you because you're a very modest guy, but your leadership over this past year and years, plural, has been tremendous. At times it's been Captain Iceberg dead ahead, but nonetheless, you've been able to steer us through, and we're in hopefully some calm water where we can really make some forward progress. So we thank you for all of the work and efforts you've done. This year's car raffle was tremendous, and we want to just take that moment to publicly make notice of that and perhaps embarrass you a bit because you're very modest. But we tip the transmitter here at 90.3 FM to you, Kerry Fink, and all of your work and efforts throughout the year.
You're so kind. I'm glad this isn't TV because then they'd see me blushing, right? But no, it's so important. And I think I always tell people the story, my wife and I were caregivers for our moms, and we were so blessed to meet Joe at that stage of life, and Nancy as well, because both of them have so much experience in managing things for seniors. And so when we didn't know what to do, and we would ask them, say, well, this is what's going on, and they would give us good advice. And, you can think you're smart, John. We've talked about this many times on there. You can think you're smart in an area but a lot of times for most of us in the aging world, we run up against stuff and we just don't know what the next step is.
Right. Right.
And that's why Joe said his last words were, you guys got to keep this going. Seniors need us. So here we are going into 2026, full steam ahead. Let's go.
All right. And Happy New Year.
And you too as well. So, I am so excited because we had a little meeting before the radio meeting, with a great friend of ours who's been involved in helping seniors for a bunch of years. His name is Dr. Kevin Kilday. You know him, from the Holistic Health Center. You also know him for the Faith College of Natural Health, but he is an expert on all things about aging and natural health, and in particular, you had a long career in addiction recovery, and so now, as we go into 2026, you have just published a book called Get Unhooked. And so welcome, Dr. Kevin. How are you today?
I am very blessed. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we were talking about this. Your whole career, like growing up and leading into the your experience and studies in holistic health, kind of came out of the addiction recovery side of it. So you have actually been doing addiction recovery even longer than the holistic health side. I'm trying to figure out which came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it the addiction recovery that led you into holistic health, or was it the other way around?
No, actually, I had a company. My very first company was actually called Life Recovery Center.
Ah, and I see where we're going with this.
Right, and that was in the mid 2000s, I think, like 2004 or 5, around there, and that's when I started, having the calling to. To help people with, a natural approach to mental health and to, and also addictions. Because at the time, I was working full time for the Devereaux Foundation, so I was, up front and close with, with the mental health of autism and all the mental health issues that go along with that. And also my wife and I at the time were doing what they call therapeutic foster care, which is a little different than traditional foster care because it's always we always get children that have abuse issues and behavioral issues and things like that. So. And we actually started doing that in 2001. So yes, I've been involved in, in more mental health, and then, addiction recovery, came a short time afterwards.
I was thinking about that because we were talking about this. So it's really kind of appropriate because you started out kind of in this area of mental health, and then that leads to always this conversation I was saying to you, like from an outsider and a non-expert. To me, it feels like a lot of time addiction begins with some attempt to self-medicate. Like many times, like I'm trying to get away from some kind of a pain. Maybe it's physical, maybe it's mental. So if I have another drink or if I take this, it's going to help me escape from the pain that I'm feeling for some period of time. And in our society, we have, I was just saying this to you a few minutes ago. If somebody walks in and they have a sling on their arm and you go, well, what happened? I fell, I broke my arm, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, that's terrible. How long do you have to wear the sling? How long is it going to take you to recover? What can we help you with while you've got this thing on you and all that? And that's how people treat physical issues, especially when they're visible. But when somebody says, oh, I'm having a mental issue, or I'm depressed, or I'm in pain in my head and I can't figure out what's going on, we back away from them. We act like there's something wrong with them. Well, there is, but it's like instead of wanting to help, we almost head the other direction.
Well, the country right now is really going through a very much of a mental health awareness type of thing. All right, actually, the month of January is actually Mental Wellness Month.
Ah,
okay.
You've got an article that's actually coming out in Senior Scene about that, right?
Yes.
You were talking about grief and things like that too.
Exactly. Yes, and but yes, I mean, like I said, there is no stigma anymore about being in recovery from mental health issues, and or addictions. Mm-hmm. The stigma is now, very much lessened because, it's getting to be a generational thing. All right, parents are starting to see now that they have teenage children that are experimenting. Or they have adult children that are having some mental health issues and or addictions, and mental health issues and addictions issues run the whole gamut of age. All right, from teenagers, all the way up through seniors.
Yeah.
I've actually written, articles about, that seniors take a lot of medications, and sometimes they're unaware of the addictive properties of these medications.
Yeah, we're going to really dive deeply into this conversation. We're actually at the point where we're about to take our mid-show break. We're talking with Dr. Kevin Kilday. He is a noted author. He's an expert on holistic health and on addiction. We're going to be talking specifically about some of the things that's happening with this new book coming out called Get Unhooked. You're going to have an opportunity to get your own free copy of this, and we're going to have all that information, so please stay right here with us on 90.3 FM WEJF, because we'll be right back to dig into that conversation after this mid-show break. Okay, so what we wanted to talk about, Dr. Kevin Kilday, is that you've got a website that's coming that's actually kind of named after your very first business.
Yes, it's very similar to my very first one. I was looking to get that particular website name, but it wasn't available. But I came up with one as good, I believe.
We're going to get into all that on the second half of Helping Seniors Radio, just around the bend. Please stay with us.
Seniors Eve, right here on 90.3 FM, and it's Helping Seniors of Brevard. The show for and about seniors, their family, and friends, and it's heard every Wednesday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock, right here on 90.3 FM. Let's get the second half of the show underway. Once again, here's your host and the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard, Kerry Fink. Kerry?
Hey, thanks, John Harper. Good to be back for the second half of our Lunchtime Wednesday gathering. We have in the studio with us Dr. Kevin Kilday, who's been a friend of Helping Seniors almost since the beginning, and becoming a very prolific author as well. Welcome back, Dr. Kevin.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I'm looking at least 3 new things that are coming out. In January, in our Helping Seniors news section of the Senior Scene magazine, you're going to want to grab that as soon as it hits the newsstands. It's available 500-plus places around the county free of charge. You can also check it out, of course, online at helpingseniorsbrevard.org. It'll be up there for you tomorrow as we hit the new year. And you've done a thing that it really covers a lot of families at some point during the holiday season. It's called, your article's titled Managing Grief and Loss, a Complex Emotional Challenge. And then you also publish it regularly in Spotlight magazine, which is another excellent local publication. Brian McDonough is the publisher of that, and he has helped us over the years so many ways. We appreciate what they do. But you have an article there called Mental Wellness Month, Time for a Meaningful Change. That's in the January edition of Spotlight. And then you have this new book that we were just talking about before the mid-show break called Get Unhooked, and it's really a holistic approach to recovery. So you have been a busy bee.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about.
I spoke recently at a small event, and after I got done, talking, a woman said to me, she goes, "Man, you are a busy guy. How do you keep up with all that?" I said, "Well, it's just, it's one thing at a time.
Well,
that's all you can do."
It's true. Although I wanted to say some people are really, really good about getting the information out. This thing that you and I were talking about as we went into the mid-show break. I was pulling some statistics out of this that you had handed to me. Drug addiction, including alcohol, is at an all-time high among youth and young adults. In fact, in 2022, you're relating that overdose deaths reached 110,000 and have steadily increased since 2017, when the government declared a drug addiction epidemic. In 2017, overdose deaths were at 48,000, therefore doubling in just those 5 years. And people think, well, this is only a crisis for youth, but it is really a crisis for seniors as well.
Yes, exactly. Actually, it runs the whole gamut. I did a lot of research, over the years, in the mental health field and the addictions field, and my free book, which is free right now, really covers a lot. It covers statistics like this. It covers even. Recently, I'll share a story with you.
Please.
I was invited up to a, and I was mentioning before that it runs the whole gamut from teenagers all the way up to seniors. However, I failed to mention it actually affects babies also. All right. A few months back, I was invited to by a nurse to a neonatal unit. Mm-hmm. Okay, and these are units where they're like ICUs for babies.
Right.
Okay, and I had an opportunity to talk with. I think they call them sitters, ones that that cuddle babies that when they're addicted. Because they're actually withdrawing from drugs. Okay?
Wow.
The thing is, most women, when they become pregnant, they do, stop, their bad lifestyle and for the health of the baby,
mm-hmm.
right? But knowing, the insidious disease of addictions, some can't stop.
Yeah.
Okay? So this particular baby was born to a mother that was on methadone treatment because she was a former, heroin addict.
Right.
And her doctors felt it was best to keep her on that treatment during the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But what happens is, and they actually call this neonatal abstinence syndrome. All right? And what happens is, an NAS for short, all right, is actually diagnosed every 25 minutes in the United States.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. It's what happens when babies are exposed to drugs during pregnancy. Of course, anything that the mom takes in passes to the baby through the bloodstream. Okay? So without getting into any particulars, once the baby is born and they no longer have access to the methadone or whatever drug of choice they're doing, the baby actually starts going through a physical withdrawal.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So when I seen this, it changed me. It really did. I said, really, this is like an unknown thing that really has to be brought out into the forefront, and maybe I will in the future when I have more time. But I even went online and researched it to see if there was any organizations addressing this.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot. There's only a handful, maybe one or two in the whole country.
Yeah, I think it's something that we're not generally aware of. We have a good charity locally called Grandparents Raising Grandkids, which is a group that really confronts the fact that so oftentimes the senior, the grandparent, actually ends up having to raise the grandchild because the younger person, who is the actual mother or father, is just not in a position mentally or for whatever reason, maybe they're addicted and trying to work their way through it, but they're not able to raise that child. So everything you're talking about is so on point. But I wanted to come back, like the thing of this book, like if you get a hold of you and get a free copy of this book, what I like is the fact that in this book you're talking about a holistic approach to recovery, which has kind of generally been where you like to be. You understand and appreciate the validity of prescriptions and things like that. But at the same time, you in this book, I'm looking at some notes that you're talking about several things that could be very effective in addiction recovery.
Yes. In my opinion, a holistic approach is the best. The best approach. Mm-hmm. I was involved in a recovery ministry. I was the associate pastor, and I was like the nutritional counselor and stuff like that about 28 years ago. And I was helping this senior pastor, which actually was the reason why I wrote this article, Managing Grief and Loss, and we'll do that in a few minutes. Yeah. And we had, because we took a holistic approach. Holistic comes from the word whole, mm-hmm. all right? Mm-hmm. So that's where they get holistic from, meaning whole body, inclusive of the mind, the body, and the spirit, all right? And there's organizations out there like the traditional ones like AA and NA, great organizations. However, they seem to lack, in my opinion, even though they touch on it, they just lack the spiritual part of it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, and also the physical part of it. All right, a lot of recovery. People in recovery, don't realize you really have to. Back in the day, they used to smoke cigarettes, drink coffee, and eat cookies.
Right.
The worst three things to do if you're coming off of drugs.
Yeah.
All you're doing is substituting. Sugar can be a drug, and coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. I have nothing against it. But cigarettes, nicotine and all that's just another drug. But in any event, there are, and it's all in my book. The holistic approach to recovery. You're rebuilding the body by mild exercise, even getting out and walking. I'm not talking about pumping iron, joining a gym or anything like that. Just get out and walk. Do 5 minutes at a time. Work your way up to 30 minutes, 3-4 times a week. Perfect exercise. Get out and get some sun. Florida sun, it's great. That. And also diet. I go in the particulars. In the book, there's all kinds of diets out there, but just say like a Mediterranean type diet. Just put it that way. And now the mind. The mind is very important because 50% of people in recovery end up being diagnosed with depression and or another mental health issue. All right. The reason being is once they took away their drugs and alcohol, mental illness reaps its ugly head because, unbeknownst to them, they have been self-medicating all the years while they're using. Mm-hmm. So they're taking those drugs away. So in the first year of recovery, it's very common for addicts to go to the doctor and say, I don't understand it. I'm down in the dumps. I'm ready to throw myself under a bus. And they're living a good, healthy lifestyle and not drinking and not drugging. And the reason being is that and the body naturally heals the neurotransmitters. That's what I'm talking about, that in the mind, drug addiction, overall, alcohol included, affects the neurotransmitters of the brain. Uh-huh. We all have it. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, norepinephrine. There's about 5 of them. And they have to be, to feel good naturally, they have to be balanced. Mm-hmm. And all the years of abusing whatever substance, you're knocking those out of balance. So what I recommend is supplementation. Now, not that I'm trying to sell supplements at all. You can go anywhere and get them, Amazon, wherever, but to get a quality one. But, there are certain ones out there that help rebuild these neurotransmitters, all right, which in effect helps you with, because even addicts, after being sober for a year or 2 years and stuff, they actually start having some what they feel are withdrawal symptoms. Mm-hmm. And what it is just an imbalance of the neurotransmitters is what's causing it. Okay? And So in any event, I mean, it's like B complex is one, and an amino acid called 5-HTP or L-tyrosine. They all help specific neurotransmitters. Again, it's in the book.
Yeah. So I think part of the story here is you got to make sure you get we're talking about a free publication called Get Unhooked, a free book. It's going to be out on Amazon and places like that very soon, but you are able to get actually a fresh off the press kind of e-version of it right away as soon as today. If you'll get in touch with we're talking with Dr. Kevin Kilday. He's a noted holistic approach expert, and as I had the Holistic Health Center, the founder of Faith College of Natural Health, but also has a long career and success in recovery from addictions and helping people move through that. And so I think there's a website, not a website, there is a email that's probably the best way for people to just send an email and request this from you. Let's cover that.
Right. Yes, you can email me personally, and I would see to it that you get a free copy of the book in a PDF format, and it's Dr. Kilday, K-I-L-D as in David, A-Y, at gmail.com. So it's just Dr. Kilday at gmail.com. Dr. Kilday.
Dr. Kilday, right. At gmail.com.
Right. Now also, you can call or text, but if you're just looking for a free copy of the book, you can text me at 321-549-0711. But if you want to talk to me, feel free to call me. 321-549-0711. Now, as far as the last but not least is I have a brand new website coming up. It should be out within the next 7 to 10, 14 days at the most, and that's going to be strictly all about addictions, the natural approach to addictions and mental health. Now it's going to be called Life Recovery USA, United States of America.com. LifeRecoveryUSA.com. Again, it's not up and running, but within 14 days it will be.
You know, one of the things I'm really excited because we had a chance to talk a little bit about this. Make sure you get a copy of Get Unhooked. It's free. All you got to do is email Dr. Kilday. So it's Dr. Kilday at gmail.com. You can call him at the number that he specified, or always, maybe you're in a car or you're moving around and you can't get this jotted down. If you'll keep in mind the Helping Seniors info line, I'm going to give you that number. Make sure you have that one handy, because you can always call us and say, hey, I heard them talking about Dr. Kevin Kilday's new book, Get Unhooked, and I wanted to make sure I could get a copy, but I didn't get to jot it down. So you always can call us. That's what we're here to do, is give that information. 321-473-7770 is our number. I'll say it again. 321-473-7770. But, you know, there's so much that is available of good help that can help people navigate these things. And, you know, I was saying to you as we were talking before the show, I said, you know, many people are fine. They don't have an addiction problem. But I guarantee you every single person who is listening right now, there is someone in their family, extended family, or group of connections, maybe people they work with or people that they know socially. There is somebody in this country that is in the middle of this or trying to figure out how to maneuver through this addiction recovery. You and I were talking about even the dangers that people don't understand. This is like, and we were making this distinction. We were talking about marijuana earlier, and that's kind of like maybe even culturally replacing cigarettes and things like that. But it basically, your position is that's like a gateway drug. And I was asking you, like, okay, how do we position that when oftentimes maybe a doctor will prescribe it from a medical perspective and say, okay, we think this is going to help you navigate these symptoms. You had a really good answer to that.
Yes, you know, over the years when I was doing addictions counseling, it got to be a little frustrating when, I used to go to people's homes, and I was part of the company I worked for, and counsel addicts and stuff, I felt my hands were tied when they would tell me, I got my medical marijuana card. And then I would ask him, I said, well, why'd you get that? And he goes, well, I just told the doctor I got a bad back. He didn't have a bad back. He did it because, he feels like a lot of other people do that marijuana is harmless. But I'm going to say one thing. If you are diagnosed with an addiction or you have a substance abuse disorder, marijuana is a gateway drug. You will use again eventually. All right? Take it as my personal opinion, but there's research out there that shows that. Also, I always like talking and helping the youth, especially teenagers. It irks me when I hear, I had a break from school, or it was, what do they call it, a timeout session or a recess, and they're outside and they're smoking dope.
Yeah.
All right? And then they go back into class. And they don't see anything wrong with that. All right? Your brain does not fully develop until you are 25 years old. And if you're out there smoking dope at 12, 13, 14 years old, and these kids are doing it chronically every day, all right, you are affecting the development of your brain. And eventually it's going to lead to other stuff, regardless of how much of the lie, I call it, that you believe. Now, as far as the medical, I do believe in the medical use of marijuana. However, the research shows that it is good for seizures. There's been research for that. There's been research for multiple sclerosis. There's even some positive research for Parkinson's disease. Okay? So if you have a bona fide, chronic, serious medical condition, and you feel that marijuana helps you, then go for it. Okay? Yeah. But recreational use of it, my personal opinion, I'm not for it.
Yeah.
And, so that's some of my opinions, but I have research backing it up.
And you have a lot of experience in this area of addiction recovery. So, again, if you want to get your free copy of Get Unhooked, the new book from Dr. Kevin Kilday, you're going to just email Dr. Kilday, that's Dr. Kilday, Kilday, at gmail.com, and you'll get that. Or you gave a number. They could actually call you and say, hey, maybe I do want to talk about a situation in my family or something that's affecting somebody I care about, and maybe see what steps might be available to look at a holistic approach to recovery. What's that number again?
Yes, they can call me, or if they want a copy of the book, they can text me their email address. If you don't have access to email for a while, or if you're working or whatever, just text me your email address. I will not sell it. I won't bother you or anything. It's strictly for a copy of my book. And that's 321-549-0711. And if you'd like to make an appointment with me to discuss any mental health issues or addictions issues, please call me. I'll see what I can do to help you.
Let's say that number one more time.
321-549-0711.
Yeah, it's always about knowing the right person to call with the right thing. We're just in the wrapping up phase here, but I just also wanted to mention you have a free course in your Faith College of Natural Health that you've just released called Hanging by Faith. Find strength and hope through our free new mini course. It's called Hanging by Faith, and you said it's absolutely free, and potentially if you enjoy going through the course, you could turn it into college credit with Faith College of Natural Health. And you've got a very, very affordable tuition plan. If somebody is interested in pursuing it farther, I would tell them to visit FCNHE fcnhedu.com, fcnhedu.com. But they could also call you now. Is this a good number?
Yeah, it's the same number I just.
So let's say it one more time.
321-549-0711. Or you can just Google Faith College of Natural Health, and it will come up, the website and everything.
Good. And we're gonna have you come and do one of our Helping Seniors Wellness series, because I want people to really have this in their toolkit as they think about things that is going to be helpful in the new year. So stay tuned to Helping Seniors. We'll keep you up to date on that. Again, thank you, Dr. Kevin Kilday. Make sure you take advantage of his kind offer of Get Unhooked for free, the new book, and email him, Dr. Kilday, Kilday @gmail.com. And we just want to wish you a very, very happy new year. As I always like to joke, we'll see you next year as this is our last broadcast for 2025. But we are excited and appreciative of you joining us each Wednesday right here on 90.3 FM WEJF. We will see you right back here next Wednesday in the new year. God bless you.
Thank you for having me.